Alright, good morning everyone. So today we'll be going into the production of lab. Now there are about two forms or two ways you can actually produce lab. But the first question is, what's lab? Lab simply stands for lactic acid bacteria, and in a layman language is actually good bacteria. That is bacteria that are good for you as human being and that are good for life in general. As a matter of fact, these bacteria are found in humans' gut. It is found on all form of animal skins. It is found in plants. It is found on plants, on the leaves of any plant. And as much as they are everywhere, shows how important they are. I will be talking about some of the benefits of these things. As a human, when you take this production, this substance that we're about to produce, in the course of the video, I will be drinking it and you will see what I'm trying to explain or what I'm trying to say. And I will also mention the component that we are using in this production, so you will not be worried at all. Now, how do we produce this? Lab is actually the fermentation of carbohydrates. That is when you put carbohydrates together and you put it under a certain condition and it starts fermenting. And a very typical example of that is your pap water, omyogi. You know, if you take pap water, you see that it tastes sour, that I will call it now, it tastes fermented. Now, the same thing you have in lab, but this is just a little bit advanced than that your pap water. Now, then what are the benefits to you as a farmer? Because the purpose of doing this is basically to help us in our production process in planting. Now, when you apply lab to your soil or to your medium, it helps you aerate your soil. It improves the biodiversity of your soil. When we mean soil biodiversity, it improves the biological organisms or the activeness of the organisms in the soil. You know, in your normal soil, when you go into the forest, you will see that most of the soils there are humid. If you open it up, you see some whitish stuff called mycorrhiza. This mycorrhiza helps plants to grow and do well. And this mycorrhiza are a result of different bacteria that are working in the soil. In the soil, you will see that there are worms, there are ants, there are lipid, all series of biology lives in your soil. All these things have what they are doing in the soil, and those are what make the soil active and alive. But if you go to a farmland where a lot of chemicals has been used, a lot of pesticide, herbicide, and all sorts of chemicals have been applied, you will see that the soil is so cakey, and you will rarely find any biology, any living organism in such soil. Such soil can be rejuvenated when you apply your lab, because the lab will aerate the soil, it will improve, it will make the soil active for good organisms to come back and live and help in that soil. Lab also help nutrient uptake. Lab can as well be used as a fertilizer, organic fertilizer. Lab has it helps your plants to grow. It helps your shoots and your roots. So it has a lot of other benefits. On the group, I will be dropping some other benefits so that I don't make this video to be too long. So now, the question now is, how do you produce this? Like I said earlier, production of lab is being done by fermenting carbohydrates, and I will be mentioning those things that you need majorly right now. I will be mentioning those ones that we need for this phase, while as we go to the next phase, I will be mentioning the rest as well. So now, what do you need at this first phase? All you need is your rice. Am I clear? Is your rice and then your water. Now, this water must be dechlorinated, meaning that it should not be water with chlorine. Make sure that the water is not you didn't take the water from a chlorinated source. Then now, to speed up the production process, you will need to you must have warmed this water, meaning that you boil it maybe for like 2-3 minutes so that it's warm. Now once you have done that, you need your measuring cup. You need your measuring cup because it is not the same amount of rice that you are using that is not equal amount of water of rice that you measure that you will use as water as well. You see what I'm trying to say now? Now, if you are producing, you need a measuring cup, maybe something like this or any other cup. But make sure that whatever number you measure with any measuring cup should be the same yardstick that you're using. What do I mean? If you are measuring your rice, just the way I'm doing right now, after measuring your rice, I will try to level it up. This is 1 cup now. I pour it in another container. I'm doing 2 cups. Okay. This is the 2nd cup. Then, after that, you will need your warm water. Now, the water quantity will be 1 cup and half maximum. It should not be more than 1.5. You can use 1, it's okay. You can use 1.5. So that, meaning that you don't use equal amount, it should be a little bit lesser than the quantity of rice you measure. So that you can have, because what we eventually need is something like this. Okay. Alright, so once you are done with that, you measure your water, pour it. Pour it. Now, once you have done, I actually did 2 cups, but don't worry, like I said, you only need 1.5. I'm going to add more rice so that it can match up. I'm going to add more rice. So, alright, once you are done doing that, what you need to do next is you have to, just the same way you are trying to cook your rice. Is it clear? The same way you're going to cook your rice. So, you wash it, you make sure that the starch is washed out very well, and that is why you are using warm water. It's not, you don't have to parboil it too. I'm not talking about parboiling, because parboiling means the water must be very hot. But in this case, no. You just need the water to be warm so that enough starch can be taken out of this. Okay? Alright, once you are done with that, once you are done washing it, you take another empty jar. Then you sieve, you pour the water. Now once you're done, you can go. Alright, so once you are done washing your rice, you pour the water into an empty jar like this. So you are going to have something like this, as in like this. Now once you're done, you're almost done with the first step. The step of this production is just about, I think about 2 or 3 stages. So we'll be done with the first step. Now, once you pour your water into a jar like this, you need either a sieve net like this, clothes like this, something very tiny, breathable. I don't know if you know how to, the process of ogi. That's pap. Something like that. You can either use a cloth like this or a tissue paper. Now, but I prefer to use something like this. You can use a tissue paper. to just cover it. Use your tissue paper to cover it. Then you need a rubber band. A rubber band so as to hold it. Now, the reason why you might be asking, why am I covering it? First, I don't want any insects. This is what you have. This is what you will get after I've used rubber band to hold it to the jar. Now, why am I doing this? It's not as if I did not do this and I leave it open, is that it's not going to work. It's still going to work. But I'm trying to avoid any insects, cockroach or anything crawling or entering into it, because I will be drinking this by the time we are done with this production. So I will not want something that will come and contaminate my body. That is why I'm doing that. Now once you are done, you have to go and keep it in a cool, dark place where it's not going to be disturbed, where no human is just going to go there and shake it and all that. You have to take it out of where anyone will touch it. So you put it in a dark place and I will be monitoring it. So now the next video, I will be showing you the signs to watch for, and I will be explaining to you what next to do after that. And that will be like in the next 24-48 hours time. So see you in the next video. Bye.